Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep your hands off of her. Oh yes indeed. You're listening to Blues and News with Brother Jacob. We played Rock Me Baby by Sam Lay. And then right after that was Keep Your Hands Off of Her. And that was by none other than my special guest, who I'm happy to say is on the live line with me at this time, the legendary Mr. Bob Stroger. Mr. Stroger, can you hear me all right?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right. How you doing, Mr. Stroger?
Oh, I am doing great. Had a beautiful day. Enjoying the beautiful snow out here. Just kind of cooling back and waiting till things open up so I can get on the road again.
Yes, absolutely. I heard that. I want to. I'd love it if we could start by talking a little bit about your upbringing and where you can you tell us in our listening audience where you were born and raised and what kind of music were you listening to growing up?
Well, I was uh, born and raised in a little town called Hayti, Missouri, right outside of Blythe in Arkansas. And well, I always have been listening to music, but back in the day, uh, our music was devil music. I didn't listen too much the blues when I was down south, and I mostly looked at Louis Jordan, country and western and stuff like that. But I'm just so proud of myself to come from the cotton fields of Hayti, Missouri, to travel around the world.
You said you were coming from the cotton fields. Were you? You said the cotton fields. You
From
were.
the cotton fields of Missouri. Yep, that's where I'm from.
Wow. Oh man.
Yeah, and so I've been really blessed. Music has been really good to me. I came up with a lots of people, brought me through this thing for Sunland Slim, Otis Rush, and so many good guys. Eddie Taylor, all those guys brought me up
Yes.
through the music business, and I got a lots of friends here in Chicago still helping me kind of get along and get through this bad time. Rockin' Eddie's one of my good friends, Billy Flynn. So I've been really blessed in the music business.
Amen. I know that's right. And we've been very blessed that we've had so many recordings with you playing on it, and oh man, I want to know, Mr. Stroger, could you tell me? So, how did you get up to Chicago? What brought you up to Chicago?
Well, I was my father came to Chicago to work on the railroad, and I think I kind of trailed along up here. And my brother was in the service. Instead of him coming back to Hayti, Missouri, he came to Chicago, and I just came up from there. From my brother, came up and moved with my brother, and kind of got started here, and started off on the west side with all my buddies on the west side over there, Calvin Jones and all those guys, and kind of got into the blues. I lived in a little place right behind a club called Silvio's, and I could listen to the music of Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and those guys. And
Yes.
it was just something I really wanted to do because those guys was really wearing the suits, and I never had a suit in my life, and people was really enjoying them. And I said, darn, if I ever uh, be able, I just wanted to play music because when I was down south, I didn't get the education that I really should have had because during the harvest we had to go to the cotton fields. And so music was the way out, and I worked hard, 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 and so here I am today.
Wow, that is an amazing. That is amazing. That's an amazing journey that you've had. I want to know because okay, so you said you were in the clubs, you were watching these different blues artists, and I know especially back in the day they were dressed real sharp.
Oh
What?
yeah, back in those days, man. Well, I wasn't quite old enough to go in the clubs, and I didn't have the money to go into the clubs, so our Silvio's were right on the corner, and I stayed right on the corner too, so I could walk out my back door and look in the door in the window of Silvio, because back in those days they didn't have no air conditioning, and so the windows and the doors was open, and I saw all those guys play with the suits on and the white ties and white shirt and black ties, and everybody was buying them drinks and oh well, back in the day you was special to be a musician. I say, hey, I want to be something special.
Yeah,
So that's where the star come from.
absolutely. So I read that you self taught yourself how to play the guitar. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, I never been to school. I like me myself. Really, we started a band back in the days called the Red Tops. So my brother-in-law, he was a guitar player by the name of Johnny Ferguson. He never wanted to play in the club, so he was what we call a front porch musician. And I don't know, maybe you have some of his old records to J.B. Hutto, and all those guys was working with him when before J.B. Hutto started playing guitar. So he was singing in the group, and I was just fortunate enough to had a car, or a regular car, and so I used to carry him around to the house parties and things where they ever play at, and listen to those guys play and how people really enjoyed it. So that's part of the journey of my musician being a musician.
And so you first started with that group, with your family, the Red Tops, and then it changed. It some Talk to me a little bit about how did it become the Blues Hustlers? I read something about the Blues Hustlers. Am I
Well,
right about that?
it was Joe Russell. Well, what happened? The band started off as the Red Tops because we named ourselves the Red Tops because back in the day, all musicians mostly had uniforms, and we couldn't afford no uniforms. So my brother had a girlfriend that we bought some Tams, and she sewed some red circles in the middle of them. And so we couldn't buy no uniform, so we made the hats, and so we called ourselves the Red Tops.
Wow.
And then after that, my brother he started the band after the band broke up. I think the harmonica player he went to be a preacher, and the guitar player he left. He ended up being a preacher. And so me and Willie Kent was the only one out of this group that's kind of held on and got to be professional doing this thing back in the day.
Amazing. That is amazing. And earlier you mentioned something about Eddie King. What was it like working with Eddie King?
Oh, well, it's just like most of every band I worked with, we end up being a little more than musician friends. We me and end up being something like a family. So I started with Eddie King, where that started. Uh, back in the day, well, when you're young, the blues was kind of down, so I wanted to be really jazz was looked up to be sophisticated, and then I kind of went into the jazz for a while, and we couldn't get no work playing jazz music. We're doing all rehearsal, but no work, and so we decided we'd get a blues singer. So I worked with a guy named Rufus Foreman, which was a saxophone player, and he hired Eddie King to be a guitar player. So we could do the other stuff, and Eddie King was doing some of the BB stuff and Johnny Taylor and that kind of music. And well, Eddie was so busy, he took the band, and so we quit record from him, and so we went on and started our own band with Eddie King, and that's what we became, Eddie King and the King Men.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness. What? So okay, now you also mentioned some other names that you've also worked with as well, including Otis Rush, and I think you mentioned Sunnyland Slim and Odie Payne. How did you get involved with some of those guys?
Well, what happened? I got into where I really got started with this reading. I'm trying to give something back to the music now that people gave me. First of all, my career started with a guy named Jimmy Dawkins. By me being from the South, my birth certificate was all screwed up, and Jimmy Dawkins got that straightened out so I could get my passport. That's my first step. And then Eddie King, we finally broke up our group, and I quit playing for about a year. And then Otis Rush, he needed a bass player, so a boy named Jesse Green, we was kind of friends. I was working with Morris Spiegel at the time, and Otis Rush needed a bass player, so Jesse Green got me with Otis Rush. And I think the first club I worked with Otis Rush was the Peanut Bell up on North and Old Town. And so that was an experience. From there, Otis Rush gave me my first job going to Europe. That was an experience from there. And he told me to go over there and play hard as I can, and let people know who I am. And I did that. And then I moved up, started working. When I came back, I was working with Otis, and I went with Jimmy Rogers, then I Sunnyland Slim, him and Eddie Taylor, Horst Littleman from Germany. He was looking for somebody to start up the American Blues Folk Festival again, and they got me on that. And that's where my history began.
Wonderful. Wow. I am in awe right now as you drop so many names. Oh my goodness. Uh I
Yeah, I've been around the horn, which me and Odie Payne was really good friend. I learned so much from Odie Payne Jr. He was the drummer, and he was my roommate. And he used to talk to me at night how we was gonna run the band. And lots of people think the guitar players and all that run the band, but the drummer and the bass player, the one called the shots.
That's right.
So we had to play the music because everybody was playing along the same line. So we had to put the beats together to make the music sound different. Each song sound different, And so we used to stay up sometime when we get off of work to 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about how we gonna play with uh, Carrie Bell, how we gonna play with different artists, Hubert Summer, Sunnyland. So we had to make all those guys sound different. So we had to change the beats to all those songs. So he learned me a lot. That's where most of my schooling come from.
Wow. I feel like I'm taking a class right now. I love it. I love it. This is great. Uh, Mr. Stroger, you mentioned something about going over to overseas, and I want to ask you, what was it like? What was it like for you going overseas? And I don't know, maybe what did you notice? Any differences between being overseas versus playing in the clubs? Or locally. How did you like being overseas?
Well, that was really my experience to really want to do this thing professional because I never will forget my first gig overseas. I think was with Otis. I think Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, and Kenny Neal. Kenny Neal were playing bass back at the time. I think we went to a place called Nice, France, and that was my first experience. And the next year, I think we went to Norway with Otis, and we got there in Oslo. I think around 8 o'clock in the morning. We passed the venue, and people was lined around the block waiting to see the show for 8 o'clock that night. And that's when I say, well, this is what I really want to be. I want to be somebody wanted to come to see me at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's when I know I wanted to be a professional musician.
Wow. Oh man. That 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, we had people standing around lining up for the see the show 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I did the same thing. I think about 4 years ago, I was in Argentina. I did the same thing, and I sold out people when I went to the venue. I had people lined up around the block. I said, "Hey, Otis, me and you are together now."
Wow. Oh, I love it. I love it. I let me ask you. So let me ask you this now. When you decided that um to release, start releasing solo recordings, what made you decide to take that, go out and start, working as a solo artist?
Well, I was forced into this. I ain't never wanted to sing. All I wanted to do was play my music, and I think I was working with Mississippi Heat back in the time, and I don't know if you probably heard of Luzon Blues Festival. Our band was Mississippi Heat was the one started that festival off. The first festival they had, I think it was just two musicians, acoustic player in Mississippi Heat, and then the promoter, guy called Frisch Jacobs, he saw something in me, I guess, and he just wanted to cut a CD on me. I didn't want to cut no CD. All I wanted to do was play. And from then, that's where it started. He cut a live CD with me with my friends, uh, Billy Flynn, and the guys. I think James Wheeler, Alan Kirk, and he put it out, and then it kind of warmed things up. And after that, I did another one on Sunnyland's label, kind of tribute to Sunnyland because Sunnyland always wanted me to sing, and I never did sing. And after he passed, I decided I'd do a CD on his label. Then I did another one with my good friend Kenny B. Smith. Uh, I worked with his father for years, Willie Big Eye Smith, and we
Yes.
did a tribute, a CD uh, for Willie. And that's the way it started. And then I just come out with this record here with some friends of mine, are really great guys. They treat me like family, which all the guys I be with treat me like family, but they was really something special. And I felt that I wanted to kind of give something back because so many musicians, people in general helped me through this thing, and I just want to give something back to it. So we cut this thing, and then Delmark, he liked it, and so that's his rest is history.
So wait, so tell. I want to talk more. I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk more about this next release called "That's My Name" with the Head Cutters, and I think I read somewhere that you refer to the Head Cutters as your blues godsons. I think is that did I read that
Well,
right?
they call me they godfather. I'm just like a father to those kids. When I go over there, we've been playing together about 10 years or 12 years, and they just treat me like when they come here, they sit down at my table and we eat together. When I go, they're the same thing. It's just like a family of us. And we just wanted to do something together. And those guys feel me. And I said, well, we'll do something, to see how far it goes. And so far, the band has been together from kids, and I've been playing for years, and so everything just gel together.
That is wonderful. I love hearing stories like that, and I know this upcoming release that you have, which is coming out on the 18th of February. Um, it has 13 songs on it. Uh, talk to me a little bit. Talk to me a little bit more about this upcoming CD. Did you write any of these songs, or how did you?
Yeah, I think I got about five original songs on there is mine, and the rest of them I got friends that I loved, and some I played with, and some I just want to do some of my stuff and do some of their stuff too, because I treasure those guys, and so I just got together, and I never did a complete harmonica CD, and I said that's what I wanted to do, that band was the band that's really fit for what I had in mind, and so we just put it together.
Absolutely, I heard that. So, uh, I know that you also um, back in 20, I think it was 2011 and 2013, you won the Blues Music Award for Best Bassist. You won that award twice. And I know you've been honored. I mean, you've been honored by us, but I think we deserve. We need to give you some more honor, and I appreciate you because you have such a rich history and such a great artist, and I appreciate you. I want to answer this question as you think about your experience on the road and some of the folks that you've worked with in the past. What are some lessons that you've learned and maybe even some advice that you would give to a young person trying to get into the blues scene or get into music in general?
Well, in this business, you can go down as fast as you go up. I've been fortunate enough. I'm sitting in the front room now. I got one, two, three, four, five. I got five awards from what you talking about, the one you talking about, and I got 12 nominees for
Wow.
best bass player. But I got one from France. I got one from Spain. Oh, I got them all over the place. But
Woo!
I, I I appreciate those trophies, but my trophy really is my audience. I appreciate audience people accepting me. I think that's my biggest award, my biggest treasure.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. Because as a performer, where would we be without our our fans and the people who support our music. So that I have to agree with you on that. I what do you have any do you have any kind of advice or for anyone who might be thinking about getting into the music business? Do you have any kind of words of
Well,
advice?
yes, music is a hard business. It's lots of fun. You got to treat it as fun, but you have to treat it as a business, and don't don't get the big head. Love what your job, and it's chosen few of us gonna get rich playing our music, the blues music. So you just love it, and remember, if you're a side man, you're not playing. You playing in a band. You're not playing for yourself. You playing for the guy or the leader, or who you're the singer. That's who you got to make feel good and sound good. If you do that, you did your job. I talk to lots of guys here, play and showing people how much they can play, but it's not playing with the band. I have played with bands out there with Snooky Prize and those guys. You got to play the lines that make them sound good. If you have to play that line all night, if that's what make them sound their best, that's what they're used to hearing. You there to support the leader, and just don't try to go off on your own and show people how good you is, and you're not playing with the band, because I think a band is only as good as the weakest one in the band. If you play over that, it's not gonna sound right.
Amen. You right about that. Wow, that is woo. I hope they're all listening right now because you're telling the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah, because if you play over the band, it's not gonna sound right. So you got to play what other peoples can play. How much you can play, that don't mean anything if the band don't sound good, because people not coming to see you. They coming to see the artists that you support. They're not gonna say the artist can't play. They gonna say you can't play with the artist. So remember that your job is to play with the artist, for the artist.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Wow. Ooh. Mr. Stroger, do you have any upcoming performances?
Yes, I'm leaving out on the 17th. I'm going. I got to go to Phoenix. After that, I come back. I'm going to Switzerland for 3 weeks, and then I'm just gonna slowly get back into it. I got some jobs here I do when I come back, but right now, as this virus is kind of bad, I'm just kind of picking my jobs that I can do, because I had to turn down a job. We had to cancel one in California last month, and so I'm just taking it easy, getting back. I got jobs I can do, but I'm just walking back into it slowly.
I heard that. I understand. I know we all got to be safe, and careful during this time. But that's exciting to hear that you're going to be going to Phoenix and then you're going to Switzerland. Woo! Wow! Oh man! Oh my goodness! I, I want to ask you. Is there anything else that you think that the people should know about Bob Stroger? Is there anything else that you would want to share with the audience?
Well, I just want the audience, whenever you uh, see the name Bob Stroger, just keep supporting the blues. And my CD will be out on the 18th, and please buy one. If you like what you hear it, buy it. If you don't,
Yes.
buy it anyway and give it to someone that you don't like.
I know that's right. Well, Mr. Stroger, I have really enjoyed this interview. Enjoyed talking with you, and learning more about you and your history. And I hope that I can, come out and catch you perform soon. So I'll make sure to keep in touch with you. But I want to just thank you again for taking the time to talk with me this evening.
Thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure because my fans are. I'm just so happy and so thankful for the people that enjoy what I'm doing. And I never would want to be a musician that go and do a show and go back in the dressing room and hide. I love being around my fans. That's when it's so hard for me now because I play for my fans and I want to be with them, take pictures with them, and autograph from. So I just can't wait to get back out there and enjoy all the people.
Yes, absolutely. Likewise. Well, Mr. Stroger, thank you again, and I wish you a safe trip as you travel for your upcoming performances. And we're gonna be playing your record, your new CD coming out. That's my name. We will be playing that on this program and putting it in rotation. So, but we want to encourage everybody to support you and buy your music and go to your shows. And again, I gotta say thank you again, Mr. Stroger.
Thank you for having me on, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, and you take care. You have a good one.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, bye bye. That was the legendary Bob Stroger